Welcome back to Grow Your Own Vegetables, where a community of trusted teaching partners helps you grow real food in any space, in every season. What if you could grow your own chocolate at home, even outside the tropics? Most of us think chocolate has to come from a store, wrapped in foil. The truth is, the cacao tree is one of the most rewarding superfoods on Earth, and there's a way you can grow it almost anywhere. What you're about to watch is a live talk given at one of our past Grow Your Own Vegetables events, recorded for gardeners just like you. Today's teachers are Marjorie Wildcraft, one of the most trusted voices in home food production, and cacao farmer Jeff Paul, who grows some of the world's finest chocolate on his regenerative farm in Puerto Rico. Today, they're sharing exactly how to grow your own cacao tree, why the fresh pulp tastes nothing like the chocolate you know, and the surprising bliss chemical hidden inside every pod. Pour yourself some tea. Let's spend a little time together. For more information, free resources, and gentle guidance, you can find us at growyourownvegetables.org. And to grow alongside other gardeners just like you, join our free community at gyov.org. Settle in. You're going to enjoy this.
You know how when you're raising kids, you're always trying to educate them. I mean, everything you do is an educational opportunity. And one year we took our family to Washington, D.C. And actually that had an amazing unintended consequence just for me. The reason we went though is, D.C. It is the capital of the most powerful country on earth. And they have that fabulous mall, and then all around the mall are all these amazing historical, sites and statues and museums, and everything is free. So our family goes for spring break, and we're in DC. And what I found works really well to avoid that, you know how that happens in a family after a while. What I found works really well is for the first 2 days, we're all together as a group and we do things together. And then about the third day is a good day to disperse, right? And so my husband and son are off to the rockets and all that stuff. And my daughter and my stepdaughter are off to go to the Native American Art Museum. And then what I did was I was booking it to right next to the Capitol building is a huge greenhouse complex. It's the National Botanical Center. And so I get over there, I'm so excited. I mean, I got up early to get there. Soon, I'm like waiting in line for them to open the doors. And security, I'm like, what? You got to go through security? Although I'll tell you why in just a minute, because it turned out they needed it for me. So I go through security and I check in, and then I go through the big double glass doors into the greenhouse itself, and right there in front of me is a beautiful, I think this thing was 15 or 20 feet tall, a fruiting cacao tree. And my mind was blown, and I'm talking about it had one big beautiful yellow fruit on it and everything. And my first thought was, oh, I would love to eat that fruit. And of course I'm looking around and there are security cameras, and I'm like, better not do that, Marjorie. That would have changed the vacation into something else entirely, right? Anyway, what it really did was inspire me that you could grow chocolate. If they can grow chocolate in Washington, D.C., you can grow it anywhere. And later on, I went to find where they were growing specimens that were fruiting up in Pennsylvania and other places around the country. And so the purpose of this segment I'm going to show you. It's a real fun one. And we're going to go see how chocolate grows and how you can grow it wherever you are, what it's going to take, what your temperature, soil, water requirements are, what production is going to look like, how much yield you're going to get, and then some really fun recipes at the end of, you know, other ways to eat chocolate that you may not have ever thought about. And the final kicker is, although we know chocolate is a superfood, this is going to be a way that you can go beyond the bar and take chocolate to the next level of nutritional content as a superfood. Hey everyone, this is Marjorie Wildcraft from the Grow Network, and so excited today to be with Jeff Paul, who is one of the Grow Network community, who's a farmer in Western Puerto Rico, growing one of the world's most amazing superfoods. Jeff, why don't you tell people a little bit about your farm here and what you got going on?
Buena Fruta Farm is a regenerative organic farm, strictly regenerative organic from my heart. I hate chemicals.
Good.
There's no need for them.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah. I got this farm about 11 years ago in February of 2010 to plant rare fruits, and found out cacao grows amazing here, very high quality cacao.
And the way you found out that cacao grew here was not like, it was an amazing happy accident that you had.
Yeah. There was some wild cacao trees growing along the farm. I found out that back in the 1600s, the Spaniards covered the whole island with cacao because it grew so good. It was a major export to Europe. After a big hurricane back then, they decided to diversify crops. But all over Puerto Rico, along creeks and different places, there's remnants from those cacao trees. A friend of mine who knows a lot about cacao came and visited. He said, your farm would be amazing for growing cacao. It would grow like a weed there. It just naturally grows there. So that's how I got into growing.
A lucky, like it's growing wild here. Like, isn't that amazing? So that's how you knew it would grow well. Right. And that's another tip for wherever you're living. Whatever is growing wild there,
grow what naturally grows.
Grow what naturally grows. And you live, of course, in Puerto Rico where it naturally grows. And later on in this segment, we're going to show you how you can grow this wherever you live. But let's talk about different.
Enjoyable thing.
Yeah, let's just talk about different varieties. So how many varieties are you growing here?
I have 20 different varieties right now, grafted varieties of very high quality artisanal cacao. I have 10 varieties that are recommended by the USDA Tropical Agriculture Research Station in Mayaguez, Puerto Rico, the TARS. They have a collection of over 300 trees, and from the best of collections around the world, private and government agriculture agency collections. And they've chosen 10 of the best and recommend farmers to grow those. So I have those 10, plus I have other ones that friends who are cacao farmers have recommended the very high quality, artisanal quality chocolate. In addition to the wild ones growing, that's more, so there's the 20 specific and then there's the wild ones.
I want to interject here for just a minute to stress the importance of growing your own chocolate, growing your own cacao. So many people know me as the woman who grows her own food, makes her own medicine, and they think that I'm anti-medical system, and that is not at all true. One of the best things about the medical system are the diagnostics, and I love every couple of years to get some blood drawn and urine and all this stuff and having them analyze it and tell me what they think. And one thing I like to get done every couple of years is a hair analysis. You cut a little hair off the back and they'll tell you what kind of heavy metals. And almost every time, all my heavy metal numbers are really, really, really low on the chart, except for one is way out there. It's cadmium. I'm like, where do you get exposed to cadmium? Like how to get rid of cadmium? Like what does cadmium mean? Like what the heck? It's such a mystery to me. So fast forward a couple of years, I'm homesteading, living, working in Bastrop County, and Mike Adams lives nearby, and he and I have somewhat of a friendship. And Mike Adams, if you don't know, is the founder. He's called the Health Ranger. He's the founder of the Natural News. He's a very emotional guy, right? And he's talking about topics that are pretty hard hitting, kind of truthful, but a little hard to take. And he's been kicked off of all social media. So he created his own platform called Brighteon, which is a free speech platform, like sort of like YouTube. Great place to go. You'll see stuff there you will never see anywhere else. Anyway, Mike, a real pioneer in seeking the truth, and he has a lab where he has all this really high-tech equipment, and he takes samples of all kinds of foods and different, you know, pasta and rice and meat and whatever, and analyzes it, and then, you know, tells people what's in it that they may not want to know, right? Heavy metals, pesticides, chemicals, toxicities. Mike's life, as you can imagine, has been threatened many, many times. He walks around with a 45 on his hip, and all of his scientists that work for him do the same. He wrote a book called Food Forensics. If you ever read that book, you will never eat anything from the grocery store again. As you can imagine, him, you know, the really Kraft, General Mills, these big companies are not happy with what he's been revealing. So anyway, I was talking to Mike, we're doing a video interview, and I said, Mike, what is, of all the different stuff you've analyzed, at this time it's thousands of different foods, what is the biggest surprise? And he said, the biggest surprise is chocolate. And I said, what? He said, yeah, all of the higher quality chocolates, almost every one that we've analyzed, has high levels of cadmium in it. I'm like, oh, that explains something. So as we get into this presentation, I'll show you that actually growing chocolate does not require that much space. The temperature requirements are going to be a little bit of a challenge for you. It's totally worth it. The yields are pretty good. I'm going to get back to the presentation here, but it's super important that you grow your own chocolate. So Jeff, I did some research on, now first of all, I love cacao, there's no doubt. But I was doing some nutritional research on the web, and like, this is a friggin' multivitamin, right?
Is.
I mean,
it's
really.
a multivitamin.
Magnesium, phosphorus, copper, iron, selenium. I mean, it goes on and on and on. It's incredible. What do you know about the nutritional value of it?
One of the things in cacao, what gives it its bitterness of the pure bitter chocolate is the polyphenols. And the kind of polyphenol that's in cacao is flavonols. Flavonols not only are antioxidant like other polyphenols, but flavonols are also anti-inflammatory. They have tremendous, amazing effects. Cacao, the magnesium in cacao is good for your heart health. It's good for your muscles, and especially your heart muscles. Scientists from, there's a study from Boston University and other studies that show that pure chocolate, high percentage chocolate has very amazing heart health properties. The theobromine that's naturally in cacao is actually very good for your teeth. It helps strengthen and remineralize tooth enamel, and it's antibacterial against the main kind of bacteria that causes cavities. So from Buena Fruta Farm, we actually make a toothpaste with cacao in it for the theobromine's positive effects on your teeth.
Wow. It's also, there's a reason that men give women chocolate on, you know, Valentine's Day or whatever they're dating, because it really is a powerful and aphrodisiac.
Yeah,
So,
there's a number of things in there. This anandamide, which translates to bliss chemical, and anandamide is a cannabinoid. It's a cannabinoid neurotransmitter, and it gives good feelings.
Yeah, amazing fruit. Well, let's head over to, you've got a small nursery where you sell plants. Let's head over there and let's talk about how to grow this.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, here we are at one of Jeff's nurseries, and yeah, let's talk about how to grow this. You can grow this. I've even heard of people growing these in Alaska, but they do, they're not going to grow out in your yard in most places. So let's talk a little bit about like temperature ranges. What kind of temperature ranges can these guys handle?
You wouldn't want to let cacao get below 40 degrees, I'd say. It's about the coldest before it would kill it.
Yeah. So it'll survive 40, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say.
But it's probably not going to fruit at that temperature.
Nah.
Yeah.
No, it likes at least 70, 80 degrees to be productive, which, you know, you can recreate in a greenhouse.
You know, a greenhouse with the sauna attached, or you know, the solar heating
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's doable in a lot of places.
There are
yeah.
people who do it. In in Washington D.C. at the Botanical Garden, they have a big cacao tree that's producing. So
Actually, I just told the story about that, and it's so great you mentioned that's actually what inspired me to want to grow chocolate myself. So let's talk about yield and production. And so we've got a little bit of footage we're going to dovetail in here. The fruits actually grow close to the trunk, right? They're
yes,
not. They often aren't like most people think of the fruits hanging way out on leaves, but these guys tend to stay.
they grow kind of
close
right on
to
the
the
trunk. You know, a tree takes about 2.5 to 3 years until it starts producing. You know, the trunk will be probably 2 to 3 inch diameter by
That's
then.
pretty fast for a tree.
Yeah, they're a pretty fast growing tree. And by 5 years, it'll be in full productivity, but it'll start producing by about 3 years. And each pod has, it'll produce about 40 or 50 pods per tree by when it's in full production, full productivity. Each pod has about 4 ounces of the cacao in it. The cacao that's the wet cacao with the fruit pulp on it. When that's dried, you lose about 60%. So you end up with a little bit, around 2 ounces, a little bit less than 2 ounces of dry cacao.
Yeah.
So that comes out, one pod would basically make 1 2-ounce chocolate bar.
We're going to head up to the house here and open a pod and show you what this all looks like. But let's go back to growing. How much room are you going to need? Like, this is not going to be like some gigantic mango tree or something like that. I mean,
right. No, cacao's a much smaller tree. You want to keep it small so it's easier to harvest and to reach them, to harvest. And you keep the trees pruned to about 8 feet tall. On my farm, I plant the trees every 7 feet with 7 foot by 8 foot. So there's a little bit, a foot wider space in between. They grow outward and form a canopy, which shades the ground, which is very good for keeping your soil moist, keeping it, the microbes and your soil alive.
In a greenhouse situation, though, I mean, I've seen them growing in greenhouses with like
oh yeah, you can keep them much smaller.
4 foot diameter
exactly
area that they were growing.
You can keep them very small. You can keep a tree in a big pot, very small, and it'll start producing pods. Not a tremendous amount of pods, but yeah, it's a beautiful little tree.
Now the flower, and we've got a picture here of the flower. They're little tiny flowers, totally unimpressive flowers. Yeah. But how many does this fruit and flower all year long? How does that go?
Yeah, cacao doesn't really have so much of a season. It produces all year round. A couple of times a year will be heavier production, but it's always putting out new flowers, and the pods are ripening at different times.
Let's also talk about soil. So, of course, the punchline, right? Like, all the nutrition in this amazing superfood is going to ultimately come from the soil. But tell us what soil needs to be.
It likes a lot of moisture. It likes some humidity. It likes well-drained soil. I've experimented with growing trees on different parts of the farm. I have some parts of the farm that have very good well-drained soil on hills. I have some that it's very heavy red clay soil. In the heavy red clay, it's more difficult, but I have trees that have survived that and are actually doing pretty well. So it can grow in a lot of different kinds of soil.
But in general, it's really going to want that.
The best is well-drained, fertile soil.
And as you were saying, the wild ones grew down by the creek, which is where most of the nutrients are
exactly
accumulating.
It likes,
yeah. And really, I mean, there is a lot of magic in the plant world, but the fundamental minerals have to come from somewhere. It comes from the soil.
That's
so we're going to need really good, rich soil. And watering, again, it's naturally a tropical plant, so it likes moist.
Yeah, and you can always mulch them to retain moisture.
All right, let's see what else have I thought about that pertains to growing. So we covered soil, water, sunlight. Let's talk about sunlight requirements. I mean, it's an understory tree.
Yep, it's an understory tree, so it can handle some shade, but they will be more productive with more sunlight. It should get at least 5 to 8 hours of good sun a day. If it's broken sun by some overstory trees or some shade cloth, that's good too. But I have some of my trees in full sun, and they're doing very good, very productive. Those generally are in very good soil, very a part of the farm that's.
And now, pollination. So are these going to need, are there male and female? Are we going to need to have 2 of them or 3 of them? You know how you have like with different varieties of apples?
No, they generally, they'll pollinate within themselves, yeah.
So they're called perfect flowers.
Yep.
When they don't need. But
there's many varieties of cacao. There are a few varieties, but that need other trees, but most cacao, these ones are this variety, and most cacao will pollinate itself within the tree.
And if it's in a greenhouse, I'm thinking you can just you can help the plant have sex with a Q-tip, just moving around a little bit. Yeah.
Or a toothpick.
Is there a particular variety that you would recommend for people growing in greenhouses? Most of our audience is going to be in a temperate climate. They're going to be growing this in a greenhouse.
The variety that we sell, it's a variety called the Melanado, and it's a very strong disease-resistant variety. It's the most common variety of cacao grown in the world. So because of its strength, it's recommended, a very good variety. It's also used often as the variety to graft other varieties into. That you take a branch from another variety that's a very good type and graft it into the Melanado seedling. But,
so it's both a good root stock and a good producer in itself.
Yeah, and it makes good chocolate. Most of your chocolate that, it's not, a Melanado isn't considered like a very connoisseur type chocolate, but for most people, I like, it tastes good chocolate to me. But, it's like expensive wine. Some people have a palate to taste the subtleties. They're wine connoisseurs. So it's the same thing with chocolate. Most people, just all chocolate tastes good. Some people, they really know those subtleties. And so most of the cacao on the farm is the very high quality varieties. But that's a whole nother thing, is grafting the trees. And right now, I just sold a Melanado seedlings, because it is a very good, and it's stronger. It's more of a chance that in other places and where it's not normally grown, that it's going to survive because of its strength.
Speaking of strength and survivability, the ones that you grow are all from seed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I really appreciate grafted trees, but they do tend to be weaker and they do tend to need more care. So I love things that grow from seed.
Yeah, the grafted trees, you want more in the places where the cacao naturally grows to grow the grafted trees. So, I mean, you could possibly do it in a greenhouse somewhere, but the Melanado seedlings are probably going to be your best bet for a tree that's going to survive and produce in the not perfect conditions.
Well, talking of taste, let's head up to the house and open one of these up and
Sounds
show people
good.
what to do with it.
Yep. Let's do it.
Nice. Okay, so Jeff's out there harvesting, and gosh, look at all these pods. So Jeff, now that we're back here on the patio, and look at all these beautiful pods you've got. About how many pods do you get off of one tree that's out there growing?
Depending on the variety, but average around 40 or 50 pods per tree.
Per year?
Yeah, per year.
And you're saying that one pod is going to be approximately 2 ounces of chocolate?
About 4 ounces of fresh cacao with the fruit pulp, and after you dry it, a little less than 2 ounces.
So 2 ounces times 40 is 80 ounces. That's a pound or more?
You would average, generally you would average about 10 pounds of fresh cacao per tree and 4 to 5 pounds of dry.
Wow.
Yeah, so
yeah.
So that's basically 4 to 5 pounds of 100% chocolate from a tree.
From a tree. And these are the ones you have growing outside. They're a little bigger. In a greenhouse, we'd be talking about maybe half or a quarter of. I'd be happy with 1 pound per tree, right? You know.
Basically, one pod will give you basically a 2-ounce chocolate bar, which is the average. You know, like when you buy a high-quality organic chocolate bar, it's 2 ounce, 2.5 ounce.
Well, it's like a 3 or 4 ounce bar, but it has chocolate. I mean, it has sugar and other stuff in it, so it ends up only being about 2 ounces of chocolate, right? So yeah. Well, let's cut one of these open and show people what what these things look like. You can just, oh, yeah.
So that's what it looks like inside, and all the beans, or seeds, or nuts. You can call them a bean, chocolate bean, or a seed, or a nut. And there's a little layer of a sweet fruit on it that you can suck on it, or just chew up the whole thing. I like just chewing up the whole thing. They're really delicious. The inside's bitter, but it's a nice kind of bitterness. It really grows on you. And in this fresh form, it has the most nutrients and medicinal properties. It's antioxidant, it's anti-inflammatory. The little bit of bitterness in the cacao is because of the polyphenols. So generally when they make chocolate, you ferment it, but you don't need to ferment it. When you ferment it, you lose some of the bitterness, but that's the polyphenols. But it's...
So the healthiest form of this chocolate is just going to be to cut it open.
Fresh right out of the pod.
Fresh right out of the pod.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's something that I sell is frozen bags of the fresh cacao right out of the pod.
Now, what about the rest of this in here? Is this all edible or?
No, but it's good for compost.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
so you're talking about this inner core, which looks like it comes out real easily.
Yeah, you just kind of like run your fingers along and you pull all the seeds off. And if you bite it, you can see, you bite it in half, it's purple inside. And there's thousands of varieties of cacao. Every time they cross-pollinate, you're going to get another variety of seed. Most cacao is purple inside. There are varieties, particularly a variety called Criollo, that's white inside, but that has nothing to do with white chocolate. White chocolate isn't even really real chocolate. All cacao, whether it's white or purple inside, turns brown when you dry it. That's why chocolate's brown.
That's a good place
taste
to.
them.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna taste some. Absolutely. It's surprisingly sweet. The outer edge. It's actually surprisingly sweet, and that's a nice contrast to when you bite into the seed. And it's kind of bitter. Nice.
I love these things.
How long? If I take a handful of that, I cut open a pod. I assume we're going to refrigerate that. How long would it last in a refrigerator, say in a Ziploc bag? Or?
At least a week in the fridge, basically forever in the freezer. And the freezer lasts a very long time. When I ship these, I take it out of a chest freezer that's very, very cold, bring it to the post office and ship it, so it's shipped right away. When it arrives, it's defrosted, but it's still good. Generally, it gets there in 3 days, priority 3-day, and it's, yeah, you can just eat it out of the bag, or you can blend it into smoothies. You can refreeze it in like little clusters, so you have just like portions to pop into a smoothie, or you can grind it up into making chocolates.
So Jeff, what kind of things? So definitely you can eat this raw, just like this. That was awesome.
Delicious.
And then you have both a sweet and a savory recipe for this, and using it as the raw material. So what is your sweet, your homemade chocolate? I see you've got some right here. I'm going to be picking up this from Jeff. How do we make this?
That is 60% of fresh cacao with the fruit pulp, organic cane sugar, and organic coconut flour. You can use raw honey if you want. You can use agave, whatever kind of sweetener you like. But the coconut flour is what stiffens it up to make something solid, and you can press it into molds or form little balls, or there's many ways to do it.
Love these little hearts that you've got here. That looks so nice.
Little chocolate hearts.
And so just play around with the different...
and if instead of using coconut flour, you can use coconut oil and make a creamy chocolate, like a chocolate mousse, chocolate pudding, a spread like a Nutella. It's very delicious.
Nice. And then you also have, for more of a savory type taste, you've got a cacao cheese. So you want to tell folks how to make the cheese?
Yeah, it's a cream cheese made from cacao. There's no dairy in it. It's totally vegan. It's like a cream cheese. You can use it as a spread or a dip for bagels, in sandwiches, for dipping veggies or chips. It's 70% of fresh cacao with a fruit pulp. Very, very fresh organic cold-pressed coconut oil, organic coconut flour, and a tiny bit of unrefined Himalayan sea salt. And it has a really nice cream cheese type flavor, no dairy.
Yeah, so you can spread that on...
Yeah, you can spread it on all kinds of things.
Bread or sliced cucumber or all kind of...
Exactly. It's good the way it is, or you can add seasonings to it. You can spice it up. Make hors d'oeuvres with it. It's very versatile.
Yeah, nice.
It's very nutritious and delicious.
And if you'd like, you can pick up both the trees and the bulk seeds within the fruit from Jeff over at his website, which we'll have a link for you here. Jeff, so it's blowing my mind that actually getting the cacao off the tree and eating it raw this way in different ways is so much more nutritious. And chocolate already is a superfood. And then this takes it to like the next level of a superfoodie.
Yeah.
So, and what's great about it is you can grow this anywhere, and it's a fantastic trade item. Right? And what a gift, what an incredibly unique gift to send over to people. So thanks so much for your time, and really appreciate sharing with us on how to grow this amazing, amazing food source.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
If today's video helped, we'd love to invite you to something special.
Have you ever sat in the garden and felt so connected?
Hi, I'm Dr. Jeff Pierce.
Superfood Garden
Welcome to our garden.
Summit,
I can't
where
wait.
dozens of gardening teachers share more
so excited
videos,
to talk to you
just
today
like the
about
one you watched
food.
today,
Because
helping you
you're
grow
ahead of the
healthy,
curve.
more
And it also
abundant
helps
food
if
at
you
home.
are a preserver
Whether
to
you join us live or watch the replay, grab your free ticket at the link in the description below. Thank you for spending this time with us.